If you had to wake up and do the same thing over and over and over and over again and not go anywhere, would you do it? When I was growing up, when I used to go to school, they used to tell us that different forms of motivating people, money, things like passion, things like all these things. Before my pursuit of becoming a cinematographer and a director, I didn't really understand what motivated me, what pushes me to want to do this. You know, for me, I've always wanted to do film at first, and it's hard to admit I wanted to be famous. I wanted the fame, I wanted the money, I wanted the everything that seems to come with it, the notoriety that these people have. But as I've been on this journey, I've started to understand that those motivations barely last. Like sometimes is the juice where the squeeze is fame with it. I recently met an actress that has 500,000 followers on Instagram, and she was like, "Oh, I've been hiding in Canada because I needed a break." And I'm like, "Hiding? I can't want success to go hide." But at this point, as I've been on the journey, my motivations have changed. For me, waking up every day and going through some of the craziest things that I never thought I would ever go through, you know. There's a quote from Mike Tyson: "You don't know what I've gone through to be this calm in the violence." Each day presents a different challenge. Each day presents, sometimes those challenges start to pile up and it feels like you're going through the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm making this video with that question in mind. Would you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and not move forward? I've struggled with weight my entire life. I've gone for runs. There's something about finishing a run and looking at my app and it tells me you've run 10 kilometers, stepping on a scale and being like you've dropped 10 kgs in the past 2 months. And then vis-a-vis, I try to imagine doing that and not progressing. And that's when you're at a competitive level where you're like, man, I'm putting in the work, but I'm not getting results. And that is tough. That is probably the scariest thing that I've experienced in this year. I've put in more work than I've ever done, and I haven't moved anywhere. And the hardest and the scariest part is when you look up and you realize, damn, even after all this work, I've done nothing. I'm still at the bottom of the hill. When we were growing up, there's this story they used to tell us about the man who climbed a tree, who was trying to climb the tallest tree. And he realized every time he climbed the tree, there was another one. There was another one. Like it never ends. The cycle never ends. You're constantly climbing trees. You're constantly like at the bottom of a hill trying to go up. And the question is, are you willing to do that over and over and over and over again to achieve whatever it is? At first, for me, the goal was to achieve notoriety, financial freedom, have a soft life, the life of celebrity. But as I've seen what comes with it, I'm like, nah, that's not for me. For me, it's a life of impact. It's about creating footage and content that lives beyond me, impacting people's lives, touching people's lives. And I don't even want to touch them because that's a lot of responsibility. But the idea that we can create a message and content that helps others. In this video, I would like to share with you one thing that I use to motivate myself, especially when times are tough. I believe in putting one foot in front of the other. When I was in university at one point, I was going home and this was like a 3 kilometer walk. I didn't have money. I had $0 in my bank account. and I had to walk from the university to my house. And when I was walking, there were signs that it was going to rain, but in my mind, I was like, I can make it. And the crazy thing is, when you're in Zimbabwe, you can tell how far the rain is. Like, it's coming. So you're trying to walk as fast as you can to beat it. And I remember walking almost 1.5 Ks, and the rain just started pouring. In that moment, I couldn't run back to the school. I couldn't run forward. I was already in the middle of the storm. It rained on me so bad, I cried tears. But in those moments, I remembered one thing: put one step in front of the other until you get home. You can't go back. There's no point. You have to finish what you started. And I saw cars drive past me. At a certain point, even if people felt bad for me, it was like, bro, you're wet. And that's something that comes with the pursuit of whatever you're trying to pursue. You get to a point where you're so damaged that people can't help you. And it's not that you're damaged, it's just you're in the process. So you gotta go, because that's the process. You're being baked into becoming something. I try to use the analogy every time that I'm cleaning my dishes. Because I work so much, they pile up in the sink, and it's so disheartening to clean them, because you're like, damn, man, we don't have I wish I had a dishwasher. But every time that I go to clean these dishes, I tell myself, just start with the top one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And before you know it, it's an empty sink, and you've done that. And in real life, it's tough, because sometimes you're thinking about, like, okay, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta do this. But the truth is, one fruit in front of the other, and that's the way to go. And you got it. Like, that's the way. So in this pursuit, whether you want to be in the film industry or whether you want to be in whatever, you are the man or woman in the arena. You are the one fighting this battle. And sometimes you have to know that help is not coming. It might be on the way, but you cannot have the mindset that I'll wait for help to come, because sometimes help doesn't come, and you don't want to play victim in this game. It's a tough game, man, but we have to fight, and you cannot give up. You have to keep going forward.